The Wreck Trilogy. Original, scary, creepy, a standpoint on horror movies. Oh no. Oh no. That means only one thing. Remake!
Mr. President?
How bad could it be?
Oh, it's very bad, Mr. President. Imagine a staged version of the original. Unscary, too clean, bad acting, and people looking at the camera every 5 seconds. Yeah, sure, it's got Jennifer Carpenter from Dexter, but of course, they ruined the ending of the movie in the poster.
You better double check this with NORAD. This doesn't make any sense.
Oh, it gets worse. Not only have they done a remake, but they've done a shitty straight-to-DVD sequel. Hey, a bunch of Media World. So I'm going to be reviewing the Wreck Trilogy. I'm going to be reviewing Wreck 1, Wreck 2, and Wreck 3 Genesis. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts and opinions on all 3 movies. It's mostly going to be the same style as my Spider-Man trilogy and my Alien trilogy review. It's mostly going to be a longer video, so keep that in mind when you're watching. It's not going to be as detailed, but I'm going to try my absolute best as always. So I'm going to share my thoughts and opinions on all 3 movies. It's going to be a bit of spoilers, I think, in some sections. Keep that in mind. I'm also going to be reviewing the 2 DVDs, Wreck 1 and Wreck 2. The third one is not out in the UK or US yet. But I have seen it, so I will be reviewing that also. Talk about Wreck. Back in 2007, 2 gifted writers / directors set out to create a low-budget horror movie that would surprise audiences by its originality and bring a whole new, fresh, original take upon the found footage genre. Now, we've already established movies like that with Cloverfield and Diary of the Dead.
Mother of God.
The storyline is generally quite simple. We follow a TV reporter that is doing a special on firefighters for a local television show. The first 10 to 15 minutes is set within the fire station, and we get some really fantastic character development, and we get to know these characters a bit more through comedy-like scenes, conversations, and so we get to know these characters before, what happens later on kind of thing. And of course, we get an alarm at the station, and they have to set up for their first job of the night, which is to rescue an old woman who is trapped in her apartment. But of course, they get confronted by something a lot more worse.
Muy buenas noches, les habla Ángela Vidal. Hoy vamos a acompañar a una patrulla de bomberos en su recorrido nocturno por las calles de nuestra ciudad. Voy. Estamos frente a la puerta de la casa en la cual parece ser que una vecina ha tenido algún problema.
Now, I really enjoyed Wreck. I thought it was a really fantastic little low-budget independent movie that brought something very original and very fresh to an established zombie-like, infection-like genre, but also bringing the found footage genre to a whole new light with Blair Witch Project and the Cloverfield all have been established movies at the time. I thought it was very scary, it was very original, and I like the use of the POV camera throughout this entire movie. It's really well done. Now, the main film, of course, is set in main 2 locations. The first 10 to 15 minutes is set within the fire station, of course. Then it goes to this main apartment, and basically an infection breaks out, and people, start to go, like kind of thing, trying to eat you, kind of thing, like typical zombie-like things would. And the army outside, or kind of special forces, kind of quarantine the area in a sense, and they have to seal them in, and they have to. They can't allow this contagion to go any further than it already has. They have to contain it, kind of thing. And they're kind of like shooting at people if people try to escape and all that. And it's very claustrophobic. It's a very intense, very edge-gripping type stuff. And the use of POV, I thought, was very smart within a kind of low-budget one setting building, if you kind of get me. It's done really, really well, and it generally is quite scary because when you do it for a POV, you're there kind of, you feel like you're there, and it's like through eyes kind of thing. And when these kind of infections, people kind of things start to attack and all that stuff, you kind of like, shit, get the heck out of there kind of thing. And you really feel it, you kind of get that. And I really appreciate that kind of stuff, really appreciate that kind of format, and it works really well within this genre, really within the zombie type genre anyway, the infection type genre. It works really, really well, and I really appreciate that. I thought the direction work in this movie was absolutely fantastic. I don't know, there's a lot of one-shot like scenes, it kind of like you get to the main building and you go through this entire one-shot scene, then it kind of slowly cuts. That's one of the things about the, I think, found footage. You can see like little trimmers within the actual camera, and you can sort of cut it slightly. Very clever use of the editing and skills and stuff. The editing I thought was really fantastic also. The direction work by the two directors I thought were fantastic, and they really know how to get these scenes. And they noticed the kind of the typical stereotypes or the kind of cliches within most zombie infection horror movies kind of thing. And they kind of played upon that, and they kind of did something a little more different with it and messed around with it. And it's really impressive how they did that for the entire movie. The technical aspects I thought were amazing, and they really did some really scary scenes and really edge-gripping stuff. Let's talk about the rest of the stuff and the cast. I thought were not amazing, but just enough to kind of grip you and interest you, kind of thing. The main star of the movie, in a sense, is the TV reporter. I can't pronounce her name. This is a Spanish movie. I can't really pronounce any names. I don't want to offend anyone, kind of thing. But the main TV reporter in this movie, she does a really good job in this movie, and apparently I've been told that she's actually a real TV reporter in real life. So that kind of it's kind of like first nature in a sense, I suppose. But she did a really fantastic job in this movie. She really did things in certain ways, and and the main movie is to be scared and to be fighting. Some people want to stand up, and some people are trying to escape, of course. And each character is slightly different, and there's not a single character which I did not like in this entire movie. And if I did, they get killed off pretty much straight away, or get infected straight away, kind of thing. And it's just done really well. The acting I thought was sound. The dialogue I thought could have been better. It wasn't like amazing blowing kind of things, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter in this type of movie. It's a short hour and 10 to 15 minutes maybe, I think, if I remember correctly. Let's take a look. DVD. It's 75 minutes, so yeah, roughly about that time area, and that's just enough time, to be honest. It doesn't need to be 2 hours odd. It's a nice short movie that doesn't drag. It doesn't kind of build up this kind of epic monologue kind of thing. It's epic kind of story back arc. You don't get that old guy in the background saying, yes, this was going to happen all along, kind of thing. I knew this day would come, kind of thing.
El agente de sanidad acaba de entrar en el edificio y nos van a seguir diciendo que no pasa nada, ¿no?
It's very snappy. It just happens, kind of thing. You don't expect it to happen, especially the camera crew, especially the firefighters. They are way over their head. They don't know what they're doing, and they have to try and survive a situation. It turns into a sort of survival horror movie very, very fast, and one by one get killed off, kind of thing. And I like the idea that there's a quarantine outside, and they bring in scientists now and again to try and see what the level of the situation is, and they can't allow this virus to escape. And I really appreciate with a low budget horror movie. It's just done really, really well. Acting I thought was fantastic in this movie. The dialogue could have been better. I like the use of lighting and shadow work and sounds in this movie. When you hear something upstairs, there's one scene where the actual camera kind of looks upstairs and there's kind of like swirl of stairs, and you hear sounds, and it's very creepy because something is coming down. So something is upstairs and it's coming down this way, and it is very scary. It's very creepy. I love the use of shadow work throughout this entire movie. There's some scenes where you're like, what's going on over there? It's not like pitch black dark. It's more like who's that guy, or is he an infected, or is he a person, kind of thing. The use of shadows and kind of lighting I thought was absolutely fantastic. Now, the last 20 minutes of the movie, I think, is a very satisfying build-up and a very satisfying ending to the actual movie arc, in a sense. Now, of course, the ones that have survived, in a sense, have to go up all the buildings to go through these levels. Of course, in an apartment, there is, of course, a main room up top of the main stairs they have to go up on. And I'm not going to give away any spoilers in case you're going to watch it, or people that have watched it, you probably know what I'm talking about. The last 20 minutes are very, very creepy, and they use kind of like night vision stuff, and it's very quiet. There's no soundtrack, there's no sounds, and it's just like, what's going to happen to these characters? What's going to happen? And there is something they kind of reveal at the end, which not only adds to the kind of like infection like genre, but also kind of makes you think, what the heck is going on here? What kind of like there is something more than meets the eye kind of thing, and I really liked that. I thought, yes, that was that was really fantastic. The ending, I thought was a really kind of chilling, very dark ending, and when the credits came up, of course, I was like, whoa, yeah, that was powerful. That was powerful. I first watched it, I was blown away by how original this movie was, and the ending I thought was very satisfying and was very creative and very original. It's I think filmmakers should be like more like this. And with films like 28 Days Later, that was a very a low budget British film, and this was a very low budget Spanish movie. And it turns out these movies can be massive. I mean, if you look at both movies, they've gone worldwide, phenomenon. Everyone loves these movies because they're so original, because they're so gritty and so unclean and not staged like the remake of the Quarantine was. So yeah, overall I thought this movie was absolutely fantastic, flawless from start to finish, nice build up, fantastic acting, nice use of the genre, fantastic use of POV, so yeah, very satisfying movie all around. Now, I'm talking about the DVD for a minute here. I do have the special edition of Wreck. I picked this up at Play.com for about £4. Really fantastic movie. Really enjoyed this. It's got all the extras, making of Wreck, the teaser spots, deleted scenes and stuff. All the stuff you usually get in the special edition. Love the DVD artwork on this as well. It's got that kind of creepiness-esque, and you can also go see all the 5 stars, and of course you get all the 5 stars there. One of the best movies of the year. Blair Witch Project released 28 Days Later. Short, swift, terrifying ride. These are kind of critics they've done. And that was Empire, by the way. Empire give this a good thumbs up, which makes a change for them kind of thing. Yeah, really fantastic movie set. I definitely would recommend this on a DVD purchase. I have seen the Blu-ray quality. It is pretty much exactly the same as this, mainly because how the camera was filmed in a lower quality. So if you're expecting maybe a higher resolution on the Blu-ray, exactly the same. It's exactly the same with 20 Days Later also. So it's up to you. DVD or Blu-ray, it's worth it either way, but don't expect anything massive in terms of picture quality wise. Definitely in the special edition, get the extras. Very fantastic stuff. Good stuff, yeah. So yeah, that's my opinion on Wreck.
Wreck 2.
2 years after the worldwide release of the first movie, everyone was talking sequel, so the writer/director decided to came back to continue their terrifying story with Wreck 2. The storyline is set 15 minutes after the events of the first movie, with no contact from anyone within inside the building, and unknown what's happened inside, so they send a SWAT team to report in and investigate the events that has taken place. Easy, right? No. This is how you do a sequel. Wreck 2 is absolutely fantastic. This is an Aliens equivalent of a sequel, seriously. They had a bigger budget this time around with the success of the first movie, and they allowed them to have a bigger cast, bigger equipment, and expand a whole lot more upon this storyline left upon the end of the first movie. And I was blown away by how good this movie was. When I first watched Wreck 2, I was a bit like, I don't know, because sequels can tend to go down or up kind of thing. And this movie went up and up and up and up. Really fantastic. Now, the same writers and directors came back to do the sequel for this movie. Fantastic choice. Fantastic job doing that as well. They really expanded on the storyline this amazingly, and again brought a whole brand new taking a fresh take upon the infection genre, and did something a bit more religious type based, which is a bit of a spoiler, but not really. You find this out in the first 10 minutes anyway. This is a bit of a spoiler if you have not seen the second one yet. I apologise, but I did warn you kind of thing. This movie focuses upon a SWAT team that is sent in to investigate the events that happened in the first movie. They have to report back what's happened, how the virus is spread, and see if there's any survivors. Now, I really like the direction the director/writer has taken with this movie. They've made it a bit more of an action, survival horror orientated movie this time around. Gives it a bit more of a hardcore feel, I suppose, in this time around. I like the expansion they did with the storyline. They made it even more awesome, a bit more of a creepy, bit more of a supernatural-esque, religious type-esque. to the whole zombie-like infection genre that's already been established with other movies out there. I like the direction they took this movie a lot. It is really fantastic and really well done. The script, amazing, absolutely amazing. Now, the direction work in this movie I thought was absolutely fantastic. It was even bigger and better than the last movie, I thought personally. They had a bit more of a larger cast. There is more characters in this one this time around, and the dialogue I thought was a bit more specific, a bit more original, and the kind of links they were doing to the first movie and to the whole infection-esque genre I thought was astonishing, really fantastic, and I really appreciate that the dialogue in this movie was really interesting and really engaging. Now they've changed some aspects of the movie a little bit. It's a bit more of an action-oriented movie this time around, so it's kind of lost its kind of, I suppose, some aspects of the first movie massively. What they lose in the first movie, they more than make up for in other aspects. Now, one of the things they do keep with the first one is the POV found footage shaky cam style, which I know a lot of people do appreciate and people do like about the first movie, and they've kind of expanded on that kind of a technical aspect. Kind of camera operated people outside. There's other news crews outside because basically this building is quarantined down, and there's news crews all sorts, and they want to know what the heck's going on. And there's TV reports, all sorts of stuff going on. Then it cuts to kind of a this van where basically this squad is getting geared up, shotguns ready, rifles, the pistols all getting ready up, and the camera work is basically what they've done. They put a camera on top of the helmets kind of stuff, same kind of style as with the very first Aliens, and they basically put cameras on top of their helmets, and they're kind of looking at each other and stuff, and they kind of expanded upon the whole POV shots of the entire movie, and I really like that. I really appreciate that. It gives a bit more of a action-like feel. And of course, there is one person out of the squad that doesn't really say much of the entire movie. That is the main kind of camera operator in a sense. They filmed this entire movie, I thought, was absolutely breathtaking. They expanded the whole use of angles and POV shots. The first movie was simply one camera operator, and you kind of had one single POV shot for the entire movie. This one, you get a variety, you get a different use and different more of a movement, I suppose. And I like the life signs. When it cuts to a main camera, life sign camera, you get the whole kind of like name at the bottom, you get the kind of life sign in the sense. I really like that. I thought that was really cool, really atmospheric. Now, good halfway into the movie, not really spoiling too much, they kind of give away on the main DVD in a sense. There is basically a bunch of kids, teenagers, whatever you want to call them. They find a way inside the building because they want to know what's going on, kind of stuff. And they have a camera, so it cuts back to a camera format for a little bit of the movie in a sense, and you get like different uses of different POV cameras, and I really like that. It gives you a bit more of an atmosphere, a bit more of a creepy-esque vibe to it, and I like the ideas of it. Now, the script I thought was absolutely amazing. They expanded upon what they did in the first movie, hints and stuff, and they give it a bit more of a supernatural, a bit more of a religious aspect feel this time around. Added them with mythology, and I really like the idea of that. It's really fantastic. Now, this is not too much spoilers. You find this out within the first 10 minutes. Now, what they've done this time around with this storyline is suggested that there was some kind of like an exorcist type stuff going on with the main top building in a sense, and this little girl was basically hosted by this demon, this kind of nasty spirit that wants to break free and wants to cast chaos and anarchy across in the world, of course. And basically, this demon basically infects this little girl. A priest is trying to exorcise this demon, and he has failed. This little girl has been trapped and locked up in the main top of this building for such a long time, and basically this demon has managed to find a way to kind of do copies of himself. And what he's done, he's managed to kind of like spread the virus of himself in a sense, this kind of demon-esque, and into other people. So when the blood happens, when you get blood in your mouth kind of stuff, you get bitten, you kind of obviously change into this kind of like zombie-esque infection-like person, and that's another version of the same demon. I really like that esque vibe to it, that mythology-esque to it.
this summer, the visionary creators of one of the scariest films of all time dare you to take a second look.
A really great scene where, of course, there's a priest that also does come into the actual with the squad. We don't know that until like about 10 minutes of the movie, kind of thing, and they pick up this little girl, and this thing, and they, of course, the guy pulls out his kind of cross and does this kind of like, you know, religious ceremony ritual type stuff, and of course they can't do anything. And it's like, and there's one bit where they try to capture a little girl from the first movie, which I thought was actually a nice little reference, and they kind of say like, you know, they try to make this person talk, kind of thing. You try to make this like demon talk, you know, where are you? Because they need to find the original host, the original body. If they can destroy the original body, they can destroy the virus, because, you know, they're all copies, aren't they? And they kind of like, you know, bring the questions, this little girl kind of thing, and they kind of interrogate, and you get this real demon-esque, nasty voice, and think, whoa, holy shit, this is awesome. They take upon the whole, you know, zombie-esque infection like storyline, and they flip it on into a different genre. Amazing. I love the dialogue, especially from that demon inside the actual people and all that stuff, and they really fantastic. And I like the what the story arc is and the kind of background we find out, you know, when what happened within the original little girl, and I really like the idea of it. It's really fantastic. I was blown away by how original that storyline was. Fantastic. The acting I thought was even better than the first one, to be honest. They had more of a bigger cast this time around. The teenagers were a little bit annoying, to be honest, but I don't really give a shit, because, you know, they got what's coming to them in a sense. You know, they try to be all act all smart kind of thing. They kind of trespass in this building, and of course when they realise the shit's happening, they want to get out, but no, you know, you made your decision, you made your death sentence, bitch, kind of thing. So yeah, I like the use of technical stuff. I like the direction work. I like the script. I like the acting in this movie, and there is some good scenes in this. There's some really fantastic scenes in this movie, visual scenes, and the links with the first one are also really fantastic. And one thing I do like also is like the people that got infected within the first movie, and the fire crew and all that stuff, they're actually in this movie. They're actually the people actually running on chasing them. I like the idea that the original cast or the original people that were in it, really fantastic. Bravo. Yeah, it's little references like that I really appreciate as a viewer of the horror movies and stuff. Amazing work, really fantastic. The last 20 minutes of this movie is just as a bigger climax and a bit more of a satisfying ending than the first one was. How is that possible? Good script writing, that's how it's possible. The character that got dragged away in the first one, the TV news reporter, is back in this one. I'm not going to say any much more than that. I want you to make the movie explain it to you, or kind of give you ideas and stuff. Really fantastic how a character comes back, and they kind of explain it and stuff. Last 20 minutes is very atmospheric, very creepy, and basically they try, you know, the survivors and of course the priests and stuff, they're trying to find the main host, the main body, to try and, you know, stop this infection. And the ending, the last shot of the end movie is very fucking awesome, and it's like, holy shit, something big is going to happen. And they kind of explain all of it at the end, kind of thing, and what's happened, and they kind of give you something a bit more of a even bigger teaser what's going to happen in the next kind of movie, in a sense. Really fantastic. I love the ending to the movie, and it's just done. I really find it such a satisfying, very creepy, very interesting ending. I really appreciate that. So overall, I thought the direction work was amazing. The cast was even bigger and better. They linked the heck out of the first one, which I really appreciate that. They changed the genre slightly, and they have a bit of a mix around with the camera work. I really like that. And yeah, satisfying ending overall. Now, I do have the DVD, of course. I have Rec 2 on DVD. Really fantastic movie. I'm really happy to have this. I picked this up, I played at Calm for, I think, £4 still, I think, same price roughly. Amazing. This is my favourite out of the trilogy. I love this movie so much because it just brings something just more original, and expand the zombie infection genre in a whole new way. But at the same time, bringing something very original, very fresh to the found footage genre also, which I think a lot of people do appreciate and really do like. Really fantastic movie. The extras I thought could have been a little better. There's the extended scenes and deleted scenes on the DVD. I've been told that the actual Rec 2 Blu-ray is meant to be a heck of a lot better because it was filmed in a more HD camera this time around. So I think I might convert to a Blu-ray format at some point. But in the meantime, I'm happy with the DVD. It looks really fantastic on my HD TV anyway. So for the meantime, I'm happy with the DVD. So yeah, I definitely recommend Rec 2. It brings something so much original, so much core elements to the actual horror movie-esque genre, and it's something very, very original. Of course, you get all the stars there. You get like one of the best movies ever, and for example, I give it 4 stars. Best zombie sequel since the Dawn of the Dead. Really fantastic. I agree upon that. And we'll see the back there. And lots of 4 stars. Definitely recommend this movie. Check it out. That's my opinion on Rec 2. You could say that I was wrecked after watching this.
I thought my jokes were bad.
Rec 3 Genesis.
After the huge success of Rec 2, the writers/directors have planned to do 2 more final movies to end this franchise. 3 years later, we have Rec 3 Genesis. The storyline this time goes in a very different direction from the first 2 movies, and we follow a couple's wedding day, which turns into a nightmare event when guests start to show strange illnesses.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to bear witness to this holy matrimony, to celebrate a love that is caring, accepting, and enduring of all things.
Rec 3 Genesis is one of those movies where people are going to love it or they're going to hate it. And I can understand why people hate this movie. It goes in a very different direction in terms of filmmaking style. The first 15 minutes of the movie is from that found footage, shaky cam style, which basically is the point where nothing really happens in the movie. The first 15 minutes or so is where kind of like you get to know these characters a little bit more, get to know the family and the people that go into this wedding, and get the party and stuff. And then once the shit hits the fan kind of thing, then it switches to the movie format, which I knew a lot of people was not going to like, being that the first 2 movies were so iconic for its POV shots and stuff. And I can understand why people don't like this in terms of say filmmaking style. I didn't have a problem myself with the movie format for the good portion of the movie. I thought it worked really well with certain scenes and certain visuals of the movie. It kind of added an extra layer which I didn't previously see with the Rec movies, the first 2 movies. But I do agree with the fact that the found footage, shaky cam style, and style of the movie was absolutely pointless. I was sort of thinking that we're going to do maybe a cut between maybe shaky cam, then movie format, constant back and forth. Maybe he broke the camera and at the start of the movie, he finds another camera, he tries to record it again, and it switches back and forth. I thought that might have been a very interesting approach to do that, and it would have been nice to see that, like Behind the Mask, the voice of Leslie Vernon. He kind of did a similar format of that, but they didn't do it, so I was a little disappointed in that respect. But the found footage in the movie was pointless. If they're going to do that, they may as well just go in a full movie format scene. And to be honest, that didn't bother me as much, to be honest, but I can understand why people were pissed about that and didn't appreciate that, and I can understand that, I really do. This time around, we get different characters. We get the main 2 characters in this movie is the bride, the groom, and I don't know their actor names, I can't pronounce them, but I thought their acting work was absolutely really fantastic. The acting in the movie was good for certain characters. The main 2, the bride and the groom, I thought the best 2 characters in the entire movie.
For what God has joined together, let no man tear apart.
The others were absolutely pointless. They're just ones they're basically there to become, infecting zombies kind of thing. That's what they're there for. They were the 2 main characters that I was rooting for, the only 2 characters that I enjoyed. The rest were kind of like just there kind of thing. And I think that's one of the downers of the movie also, the fact that it didn't have more noticeable, more likable characters. But to be honest, for what we got in certain terms of the movie, in terms of the 2 main characters, I thought it was good in that respect. Again, people are not going to like it because it's a different type of cast, it's a different type of movie this time around. And yeah, I can get that. The main focus of the movie was obviously these 2 couple have just got married. They got separated by this ordeal, by this infection breakout, and they have to try and get to each other. That's the entire core of the movie. It's just them 2 trying to find each other and get back together, and they have to go for a lot of shit to do it, kind of thing. And that's the main focus of the movie. The demon-esque esque elements from the first 2 movies are not really in it. There's certain scenes where we kind of get like I say reflection of like say like it was like I say like it was like a person infected. There'd be like a lightning scene with like a mirror, and we get to see like this kind of like a shrunk down little girl kind of thing, demonesque. And I thought that was pretty clever. I thought that was pretty creepy, and I thought that was a nice little element. But it didn't really add anything in terms of story wise. In fact, we've already know from the first two movies. It was just a little hint that basically I think this movie is more of a spin-off than anything else. It's a separate movie, different cast, different situation, and it's different. It's going on the same time as the first two movies are, so we kind of get that kind of relation. But I think it's more of a spin-off. It doesn't really add anything to the rec genre that the mythology that we already know. It's just something a little more different. I liked it and didn't like it in a sense, I suppose. I think I want to see what happened at the end of the second one. I want to see that in more detail. I want to see the apocalypse. I want to see something a bit more. Oh yeah. I guess the reason that I enjoyed the movie and I didn't have that entire, thought in my head constantly was because I knew what I was expecting to see in a sense. I knew it was a bit more of a black comedy this time around. I knew it was a bit more of an Evil Dead horror-esque elements to it. And for me, I thought that worked. I thought it worked within this movie because I wasn't seeing it as a hardcore, must be found footage, has to be this, has to be that. I was bit more open-minded. I knew this movie was going to be different. I knew this movie was going to be a separate kind of movie in a sense, and it allowed me to kind of open my mind up a little bit and allow me to have fun and just have a little bit of a laugh in certain black comedy-like scenes. And a lot of people are not going to like that. They want a full-on horror. They want a full-on dark, suspenseful, really gripping stuff. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I do myself. But after two movies, I suppose it's nice to have a movie which is a bit more fun, a bit more of a okay. We've had our serious moments. Let's have a bit more. We can do other kind of stuff as well. We can do different aspects of it. Whether it was a good choice to do it in this franchise was a bit. I don't know. They could have done it in maybe a different movie. It could have been a different type of zombie movie or something maybe. But for what it is, I really enjoyed what they delivered and what they give. Script I felt was fun. It was a bit more looser and it was a bit more of a black comedy-esque scenes. There's a bit more of an Evil Dead approach horrors. The horror scenes I thought worked really well, and I thought the black comedy worked really well. There's certain scenes which I thought was really, really funny. One scene I thought was funny was the scene where the groom is in the church and he's kind of like praying to God, kind of like God help me kind of thing. And he looks up and he finds this armory, the helmet, the mace, and it's basically St. George's armory, and he takes that as a sign to puts it on kind of thing. And the next scene we get is like the next when he's outside, he's got the full armory on, he's kind of like sneaking around like Scooby-Doo kind of thing, and I thought that's funny. I liked that scene. I thought that's great. There's another great scene later on where basically the bride is about to get out of there. She's under the sewers. I think she's under like a tunnel or something, and she's about to escape kind of thing, and she knows that he's alive. He's given her a signal kind of thing, and she basically goes like hardcore, action hero style. I thought that's great. She takes this bloody chainsaw out of the ground. She makes it rip into her dress, and she's ready to kick some ass. And there's a scene where she's kind of like fighting these like infection zombie, and she does it really, really well. She kind of like punches them, she kneels them kind of thing with her foot, and she uses the chainsaw. And I thought that was funny. I thought that was great. I was like, yeah, go for it kind of thing. I'm rooting for this character. I'm rooting for both characters throughout the entire movie, and the lengths they go to, I thought, yeah, fair play. They deserve to go back together, and I thought it was funny. This is how you do a love story, I think. The film was not dull. If you don't like chick flick movies, this is how you do a chick flick movie. This is how you do a love story, for God's sake. This is great. I love it. I love the ideas of it and like the characters of it, and I like certain scenes and the black comedy-esque of it. I felt it was scary in some areas. I'm not saying it's like not, like not as scary as the first two movies. There was minor scares, and especially the scene where she's kind of like talking to her friend, and like the zombies in the mirror kind of thing. It flashes kind of. I thought that's quite scary, and some of the jump scares I think are a bit more original this time around. I'm not a fan of jump scares, but it actually worked in this movie for some reason. I don't know why. It was weird. Lots of gore in this movie also, which people are going to love, are going to hate. The first two movies didn't really focus on the gore. This one does a bit more because of the movie format scenes. I thought the dialogue was consistent. It flowed nicely with the action. It was quick and snappy. It was a bit more quirky, I suppose. Some was a bit like, get to the point kind of thing, like especially the start of the movie. I thought was just a bit some minor character development kind of scenes and stuff. Overall, then, I think it had some really great moments. It went in a direction which people are going to love or going to hate. I actually really liked it. I got what the director was trying to get across this time. Maybe I felt this movie was more of a spin-off. I don't really class it as part of the first two movies in a sense. I think it's a separate movie, which is a bit more of a light, a bit more of a black comedy, Evil Dead-esque to it. The casting I thought could have been better, but the main characters we got, the main two, the bride and the groom, I thought were great. Dialogue I thought was good. There were some minor scary scenes, creepy scenes in it, but nothing on the scale of the first two movies. So it's a bit of a half-bag movie, I suppose, in a sense. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought the story worked as a whole movie by itself. People can't just say it's shit because it wasn't like the first two movies. Give some really good reasons if you do not like this movie. Think about it. Watch it again. I think I'm going to watch it again for sure and see if I actually truly do like this movie or not. But from what I watched the first time around, I actually really, really enjoyed it, and I liked what it offered. And the ending, I liked as well. I thought it was a kind of a bittersweet ending. I thought it was like, okay, fair play kind of thing. Rec 3 Genesis will be out later on this year in September on DVD and Blu-ray in the US and the UK. I definitely recommend a rental before you actually purchase this movie. See what you think. Keep an open mind in this movie. Keep in mind what I've said in a sense, and see what you think. I'd love to know what you think of the Rec movies. Post a comment down below if you've seen the Rec movies yourself, 1, 2, or 3. If you've seen the remake, Quarantine 1 and 2, what do you think of them in a sense? I'd love to know. I'd love to have a discussion. If you haven't seen any of these movies, I definitely recommend you go and check them out. They're really fantastic Spanish movies, and they bring something so much original to the horror genre, in a sense. So yeah, that's been my review on the Rec trilogy. I hope you enjoy watching this review, and I hope the video wasn't too long for you. This has been Andrew from Media Film Game TV, signing out.